What's going on, gamers? Today I'm going to be giving you 3 tips that are not only guaranteed to help you rapidly improve at Valorant, but also help you climb out of whatever rank you're stuck in. With that being said, let's get right into it. I'm sure you've all seen a ton of guides that talk about crosshair placement, counter strafing, game sense, and other things like that. And while all of that will help you improve and rank up, these 3 tips I'm about to give you aren't the same basic ones you see in every single guide video, and they have helped me personally get much better at Valorant and rank up very quickly. And the first one is learning what role and what agent you should actually be playing. Now, don't get me wrong, it is very important that you are able to play more than just one agent and one role, but it's also very important that you have a main agent that you play most of the time, and when it's necessary, then you fill and play a different role or agent that you're also comfortable on. If you're the type of person who likes to peek first, take fights, and you're not scared of getting 1 or 2 kills and then dying right away, then you 100% should be maining the duelist role. The reason for this is the job of the duelist is to entry into the site, take space, and get kills. And when you're playing on defense, the job is to take early fights, take space, and get kills. With that being said, if you aren't comfortable in your ability to take early fights and you don't want to be dying early into the round, you should not be playing duelist. As number 1, you're not comfortable playing the role like it should be played, and in turn, you're not doing your job for the team. And number 2, you're taking a role that somebody else is actually comfortable on, causing them to play a role they don't want to play, adopt a playstyle they're not used to, and most likely throwing on a different agent. Now, if you enjoy playing support for your team and using your brain to win rounds, then you should 100% be playing the controller role. The job of the controller is to quite literally control the game. You need to be thinking about what everyone on the map is doing and use your utility to be able to open up or shut down fights and support your team while also throwing the enemy team off to stop them from winning rounds, not just by getting kills, but by also blocking off lines of sight and outthinking them every single round. And you also need to keep in mind that when you're playing the controller agent, it relies heavily on communication and coordination with your team. So you also need to be able to come up with plays on the fly, IGL, and be comfortable on the mic. Your job as the controller agent isn't just to get kills. In fact, your job is to control what everyone on the map is doing, your team and the enemy team, and using your brain to outsmart everyone, get kills that way, or use your utility to just shut everything down. It's not as flashy as a duelist role, but it is just as important, if not more important. So if you enjoy staying alive longer, using your brain to make plays, and outsmarting everyone, this is the role that you should be playing. Initiator, on the other hand, is a mixture of playstyle 1 and 2. And if you like to take fights, but you also enjoy playing a little bit more passive and being able to support your team with your utility, or just play off of your utility, then the initiator role is for you. The job of the initiator is to play with your duelist, support them, and open up the site for them. But you don't always have to be rushing in with them. You can use your utility to open up the site and support your team, and you can also use your utility to give yourself a very good chance of winning rounds even when your team is down in numbers. With that being said, if you want to play this role, you have to be very confident in your utility usage and know how to call it out and use it only when it's necessary, not just throw it out and play selfishly for yourself. Finding the balance between playing with your team and supporting them and playing for yourself is key with this role, unlike the duelist whose main objective is to play a little selfishly and go for kills. Now, if you like to play a lot slower, more methodically, use your utility and try and catch enemies off guard, then you should be playing the sentinel role. This role has the slowest playstyle and relies on you using your brain and catching timings by locking down a site on defense, using your utility and positioning to get kills, and when on attack you need to be playing very slowly, lurking behind the enemy, and using timings to catch them off guard and get easy kills for your team. If you like to play a lot slower, play a bit selfishly, and use your brain a lot, then this is the role for you. Now, with that being said, every single role will require you to be good at playing with your team and be able to clutch in any given situation, as no matter what agent you play, sometimes you're going to have to play alone or adapt and play a little bit differently with your team depending on how they're playing. But as a general rule, if you follow playstyles above and pick the one best suited for you, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable playing and you'll be able to improve and rank up much faster. Everyone has their own unique style of playing, but by picking the right role and agent, you're going to be able to play to your strengths, which is going to make the game a million times easier than trying to play a role that you're not naturally comfortable with. And now that you know exactly what role you want to play for the team, you need to learn how to actually focus and play the game. Too many people will queue into Valorant and play on autopilot. It is important that you don't overthink when you're playing, but underthinking and not focusing can be just as bad. When you're in game, you have 30 to 45 seconds before each round starts to focus up, come up with a game plan, and lock it in. This means you should not be checking your phone and watching a damn TikTok in between each round. You should be giving the game 100% of your focus, or you shouldn't queue at all, as you are not only wasting your time, but you're wasting everyone on your team's time as well. You need to understand that after you take your focus away from something, it can take up to 20 minutes for you to fully focus back up. And you also lose any ability you might have had to enter flow state, as you were not in tune with what you were doing. So when you sit down to play, get rid of all the distractions that you have and focus on what you're actually doing. Trying to win a damn game of Valorant. Too many people complain that they can't rank up and they're not even actually trying. So stop having so many distractions and actually focus on winning the damn game. Another thing you need to do to help with your focus is when you sit down to play, make sure that you don't have a bunch of other things you need to get done that you're putting off. For example, if you have homework or chores or anything you need to do, and instead of doing them, you sit down and game, not only are you going to fall behind in life, you're not going to be able to focus on the game at all, causing you to lose games and actually waste your time. Now, you might think that you are focusing, but subconsciously you're not fully there, as you were too worried about all the things that you need to get done that you're putting off. Unless you're very young and have zero responsibilities, or you're a full-time streamer who gets paid to play the game, this can be very detrimental to your gameplay. So make sure that you're getting the things you need to do done before you sit down and play, and I promise you, you'll be able to focus 1,000 times better, which is going to lead you to win more games and not tilt as easily. Remember, there's nothing wrong with gaming, as long as you're getting everything else that you need in your life done as well. The last thing that almost every single gamer overlooks, but is crucial for your in-game performance, is warming up. And I don't mean the typical aim labs, practice range, and deathmatch warm-ups. I mean actually warming up your muscles and your joints before you play. There's a reason that people warm up before they play a sport or do any type of activity. Not only does it help prevent injuries, it also helps release synovial fluid into the joints, allowing for quicker and more fluid joint actions. You can think of it as latency in game. Even though it's in milliseconds, it can be the difference between winning or losing a gunfight. So if your body is lagging by milliseconds, it can have the same effect. Don't be stubborn, and before you play, do this quick and easy warm-up. And if you do, you will not only prevent injuries in the future, but you will also be able to perform much better and hit shots like you never have before. The first stretch you want to perform is called wrist extensions. You're going to put your arm out in front of you, point your fingers down, and hold here for 15 to 30 seconds. Do that on both hands, and then right after you do that, put your arms out by your sides and do 10 big arm circles forward, and then do 10 big arm circles backwards. Right after you finish the arm circles, you're going to clasp your hands together and roll your wrists. You can do this 15 to 20 times. Right after you've done your wrist rolls, you're going to clasp your hands together, put your arms out in front of you as far as you can, tuck your chin, and lean forward at the hips, and hold there. Now the final stretch you're going to do is wrist flexion. So put your hand out in front of you with your palm facing down, point your fingers down, make a fist and hold, or you can pull on your fist to make it a bit harder. After you've done all of those stretches in a row, you're going to take a 2-minute rest. Then you're going to repeat the same sequence 2 to 3 times, and you're ready to go. Remember when you're doing these stretches to ease into them and never stretch into pain. This is going to loosen up and warm up all the muscles and joints required for gaming and give you a competitive edge over everyone else in the lobby. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you got any value out of this video or you want to see videos like this in the future, feel free to hit that like button, sub to the channel, and ring that bell notification so that you can stay ahead of every other gamer and unlock your full potential. Much love, guys. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.